This video was brought to you by Stormberg, a better route planner, MisterGreen, Kempower and Marcus Bil. Yo, what's up? In this video I'm gonna make a follow-up video of the second-hand car market in Norway. So this will be mostly relevant for Norwegians, but I guess, well, actually it's also relevant for other countries, since I will be explaining and talking about the cars and how they are and which one I recommend and which second-hand cars I don't recommend. And then I'll be staying beneath the 200k NOK limit. I guess maybe if you guys want, I can make a one that is above 200k, but I can't make it in one video. It's going to be way too long. But okay, so we're going to start with the triplets. So the triplets consist of the Citroën C0 and the Peugeot Ioniq and the Mitsubishi I-Miev. They're called the triplets. They have the same drivetrain, the same battery. Well, actually, I'm not sure about this one. But interior is different. And then when I asked Powell, he used to own an I-Miev, and also there was a good reason why he chose I-Miev, because he claims that the I-Miev has 2 more modules and it has 16 kilowatt hour, versus the other ones they have only 14 something kilowatt hour. I'm not sure, because when I look at an EV database, they claim 16 kilowatt hour, 16.5 kilowatt hour on all of them. But okay, so yeah, you see that we have a few cars here that are kind of inexpensive. I'm not sure. Usually when you have a very good low price, you will see that there might be something wrong with it. I'm not sure. Okay. It doesn't charge. Yeah, so then I usually just stay away from those cars. Then we want to pick something that actually works. But in general, what I can say is that what you want to go for is the I-Miev of these triplets, because they have the best interior. There's also a preheating feature. It's very important, by the way. When you get the car, you have to get that remote, because that remote alone costs 15k NOK supposedly. Powell, thank you so much for the insight, as I don't have first-hand experiences with this car. But yeah, supposedly the I-Miev is the best of these three if you want to pick some of the cheapest EVs out there, and it still works. It's still 4-seater, yeah, and but it's very sparse interior. Where we actually have a manual handbrake here. That's pretty cool. You can do some donuts maybe. You can do the parallel parking like a pro, but it's lacking cruise control. Even, and well, there's a radio. What is that? A cassette player, a CD player? But it's kind of basic. But given the price, 35k, look, we're talking about 3,500 euros here, you know, for a second-hand car. It has supposedly active cooling on the battery, but it doesn't charge that fast. And also, mind you, it uses CHAdeMO. Where's the plug? It's in the back there somewhere. Let me see if I can find a good picture. Oh, what? Okay. Oh man, I'm trying to perform well here when I do it. Okay, the AC port is on one side and the DC port is on another side, but it uses CHAdeMO, and it peaks at roughly 35 kilowatt, if I remember correctly. And then, but also, what is kind of impressive is that it has good cargo space. I managed to put 16 banana boxes in the trunk when you fold down the seats. So it's actually a relatively decent car. I have to say, for the price, it's a good buy. Yeah, it's a good buy. It can actually fit. Pavel explained that he managed to travel with his whole family in his I-Miev, and he managed to drive quite far, also over 100 kilometers from I think it was from Ski to Hønefoss, but he probably drove like an old man. But that's a different story. You kind of need to drive like an old man if you use these cars. So, but I also remember when I have tested it myself also. It doesn't have that much power. I think also you can see in the spec here. Yeah, 64 horsepower. That's actually kind of weak for an electric car, 16 kilowatt hour. And then, but I don't have any good degradation data on these cars. I can't tell much about that one, at least. Okay, the next affordable car is a Leaf, and this is the 24 kilowatt hour Leaf. And you see that they start at roughly 30k. I've been looking at these cars. Again, when you go for the absolute cheapest one, there might be something wrong with it and it's kaput and yeah, whatever. But at least if you go for something like this, like almost 40k, like this one, what you want to look for is they say here battery 10 out of 12 bars. But I'm not sure if we can trust this 100% really, but it gives you an indication, because some cars, some other ads I saw, it was just 7 out of 12 bars. So I just wonder if they abused the battery or how it is. But what I like about the Leaf, I've driven so many different Leaf. This one seems to have a dent, by the way, on the front. I'm not sure. It could look like it. Was looking for other angles to see if there's any dents on that one. But what is kind of nice with the Leaf is that you actually have a pretty decent space. You have an infotainment screen. You have cruise control. You have, wait, does it come with app? By the way, I'm not sure. I haven't tested the app. I'm not sure. Do they have app? I think they even have app communication. They use 2G communication, but you actually have something that resembles a regular car compared to the triplet we saw earlier. So, and the comfort is also on a completely different level. Yeah, here you can see. Usually, you can also look if they didn't mention the HVAC. I mean, sorry, if they didn't mention the battery, you can at least look here and count how many bars how many bars in the battery. But this is just like an estimation of how the battery health is. I think by the end of the day, you need to connect Leaf Spy to the OBD port and then figure out how much degradation you have. But I have some data on degradation. Yeah, I can show you that one. So this table is kind of cryptic, but it is an actual test I've done, and you say, yeah, okay, whoa, you'll be like, what the heck, but the Leaf is on the bottom. Well, these are kind of special case. Like, we have something here that has been used in Thailand, you know, very hot, and this one is used in hot California. But at least when I try some other leaves, let me see. We have, wait, here, this one. So 100K on the number, they're quite decent, also kind of old. And out of the initially 21 kilowatt hour that I believe was the capacity when it was new, the net capacity from 100% to 0%, then we have 16 kilowatt hour left, and that is actually better than the triplets, because remember the triplet has 16 kilowatt hour gross and I think around 14 kilowatt hour net. I'm not sure if I have it in the range. You know, I have so much data here. We can see here maybe I-Miev. Yeah, I tested it here, and I estimated it to be 14.5 kilowatt hour. But then this one, yeah, I'm not sure how old the car was and all that, but I think it was actually not that old. So which means that when you go for the Leaf here, even if it's kind of degraded, it still has a bigger battery than the triplets. So I mean, you still get a better car for the money. That's what I'm saying. And also I can show you here, by the way, if you go to range. Oh wow, there's so much. Wait, where's the banana? Oh shit, I have so many tabs here. Here, I will show you also the cars we'll mention, by the way. I-Miev 16 boxes, E-Up 14. i3 is actually also quite poor. We will come back to some of these cars. Fiat, by the way, the Fiat 500e is only 8. So this is kind of shitty when it comes to space. But then Leaf, where the heck was the Leaf again? Whoa, really? Here, you see here, 18 boxes, huh? This actually matters when you buy these affordable cars. You can take 5 in the trunk, and then when you fold the seats, you take 18, and then compare to some of the other cars here, you see how small the trunk is on these cars. And the Leaf also uses Chanamo, and wait, I can kind of see the dent here. And then the problem with Chanamo is that it's slightly less common nowadays. You have more and more CCS, but also this car might not charge that fast. It might hit a little bit over 40 kilowatt initially when the battery is low and when it's not rapid gating, but eventually it charges kind of slow towards the top of the scale. Okay, the next car that is slightly more expensive. Yeah, by the way, I increase the price as we go further out now. And you see that these Fiats, they cost roughly 50K, so it's a lot more than the Leaf and the triplets. And in my opinion, this car is a lot worse than those cars. I would take a Leaf any day over a freaking Fiat 500e. No offense, Marcus, but I borrowed a Fiat 500e from Marcus Biel a while ago, and I spent a lot of time with it. The problem with the Fiat 500e is that it doesn't have DC fast charging. And the other problem is that the onboard charger is only roughly 5 kilowatt. So it would take forever. You can't really use this car for a long trip. It will be just a local commuter, that's it. And then the soundproofing is not that great. Okay, the handling is good. I mean, it looks good. It's like, okay, it's a cool car and all that. inside and all that, but the problem is, well, there's not many pictures on that one. Let me try to pick another car. Maybe we have more pictures on this one, maybe. Yeah, usually when there's like a company, there will be more pictures. Oh yeah, this has lots of pictures. So what is the problem with this car? Well, the battery is actually decent. It's roughly 22 kilowatt hour, if I remember correctly, net capacity. It was 22 or 24 kilowatt hour, but it's quite basic. Okay, it's small. It has some, I think, yeah, it has cruise control at least. That's good, right? But it's tiny, not very practical. It depends what you are looking for, I guess. If you want just a small car, then okay, why not? But then you might as well go for a triplet, right? Well, okay, I mean, it has more power than a triplet. In that regard, it's kind of fun. Yeah, here you see the interior. So it's cool looking, I have to say. Yeah, but like, it doesn't have any map. It doesn't have infotainment like the Leaf. You know, navigation and all that, huh? No. HVAC setting is also kind of sparse. Everything just looks a little bit basic, and for this price, you know, I would expect something better. So I was a little bit disappointed. You have to, I mean, you have to look at the competitors, which is a Leaf. Leaf is a very strong competitor, and this car just, it's too small. It's okay if you live alone, then who cares, right? But wow, this car at least seems nasty. What the heck, man? Okay, whatever. Yeah, oh yeah, you see charge port, and it's Type 1. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, Type 1, but it's only AC, no DC. So, oh, they use charge amp. Okay, cool. Yeah, but what should I say, man? The Fiat is kind of expensive. It's kind of, okay, it's actually 24 kilowatt hour, not kilowatt. Shit. Yeah, but you have okay range, and I will show you I don't remember the specs. Sorry, I haven't done the homework, but it should say here. No, it's not 33 horsepower. What the heck, man? It's supposed to be more than that. I think it was around 85 horsepower at least, wasn't it? Or maybe more. But yeah, so I mean, the Fiat is a cool car. It's small. Yeah, it's easy to use in the city, but the price tag is just a little bit too high versus what you get for the car. And then since you can't fast charge it, then it has somewhat limited use. You can use it if you have a very predictable driving pattern, or if you have several cars, right? Because if you have to suddenly drive on a long trip, something unexpected, then you can't really use this car for 150. I mean, if you go like 200 kilometer trip, then it doesn't make any sense. It's, yeah, and also the space, like I mentioned before, is quite tiny. So yeah, so, but I'm not gonna say don't buy this car. I just say that it has some disadvantages. Okay, next one is Volkswagen e-Up, and actually the price is somewhat similar to the Fiat, but this one, I mean, these e-Ups, they are actually quite nice. Let me see. Let me try this one and see if I have many pictures here. Yeah, no, just 7 pictures, but okay, let's see. So what I like about the e-Up is that it actually has pretty decent charging speed. It can peak at, I don't remember, it's 42 or 45 kilowatt, and it charges relatively fast, and also it uses very little energy. And the interior, what, did you not take any pictures of the interior? What the heck, you tried to sell a car, but you don't have interior pictures. Hopefully this one has some nice pictures. Let me see inside. It looks nice. It looks like a normal car. What is my internet? There. It looks more like a normal car, not some weird frog like the Leaf, at least. Okay, the interior might be a little bit sparse, but oh yeah, also, yeah, you don't have any infotainment. I mean, you have this, is that a cassette player or a CD player? Let me see, do we have a better picture? Whoa! What the heck is that? No, it's a screen. I forgot it's a screen. Yeah. And actually, but you have to actually use an app, a Volkswagen e-Up app, and then you connect it to the car with a cable. I don't remember how it was. It's been a while since I tested it. And then you actually get some information of the driving and trip and everything in that screen. You can use your phone for it or something like that. So, but I gotta say, man, it looks nice inside, outside. It rides nicely. It's fairly light, and it feels quick and nimble. It rides like a go-kart. Hey, what is it here? Oh, it has a CD player. Yeah, you have to get this shit, man. Oh, you can play the best of Starship in the car here. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, and also range is fairly good because it's actually a very efficient car. It's small and all that, and yeah, I think this is the no, this is Garmin. Oh, they use Garmin. Okay, but I'm not gonna walk through all of this, but just showing you that I've tested this car a couple of times, and I find it very impressive. Like if I was looking for something in this price range, e-Up would be one of the better options out there. When it comes to banana boxes, it's not the best, but also not the worst. But there I want to see, yeah, 82 horsepower. It's quite okay for the weight. Also, it's relatively light. It's like the front axle of a German car, right? Well, actually, this is German. I mean, like the front axle of a Fiat e-tron. Actually, I think the front axle of Fiat e-tron is even more than 1,100 kilograms. But and this is actually, well, it's a 5-door, but how many seats? Okay, it's only 4-seat. Yeah, okay. You can't have 5 people in there, but really, really good. This e-Up, I like the e-Ups. It's very nice. Yeah, let me just show you here what kind of prices you have. Yeah, and also this, I don't know, man. It says 60 kilowatt. Like what the hell? Okay, this is correct. 60 kilowatt, it's power, and then 60 kilowatt, I think it's 82 horsepower. Yeah, but the ads, I mean, this is why it matters to know the difference between kilowatt and kilowatt hour, because some places this is called, yeah, 100 kilowatt is actually correct. It's 136 horsepower. Next car is Ford Focus, and Ford Focus, I dare to say, stay away from these cars. Look how expensive they are. This is from 2013 even. That's oh wow, it's 10 years old, and they want 60K for it. The problem with the Ford Focus, that old generation, is that it doesn't have fast charging. I think that's the charge port, isn't it? There is no DC fast charging. Okay, the interior might look nice or messy, depending on how you like it. But oh, what the heck is this? Shit, I haven't tested it properly, I have to admit, because I just test driven it a couple of times. I was like, oh, I don't want to test this shit. I mean, if it doesn't have fast charging, then how the heck am I supposed to test it? Well, there is some infotainment and stuff. There's some navigation here in the screen over there. Wow, that is impressive. But I guess that's where it ends, because look here, this is also a problem. So it doesn't have fast charging, but look, what the heck is this shit? It's the battery pack. They put the freaking battery pack in the trunk. Like, seriously, how big is the battery? I haven't done my homework, but I don't. Oh, it's 23 kilowatt hour. It's a 5-seater. Oh, whoa! It's heavy. What the heck? Wait, does it really have 145 horsepower? Okay, that's decent. Okay, that's decent. But like, how practical is this car when you have a frigging battery pack in the trunk? Okay, you can have 5 people. You can drive on. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? You can only drive it in local trips. If you want to drive it in long trips and you have to charge on the way, it charges slow. Like, wait. I don't remember if this one has, if it has any decent onboard charge or not. It could actually be, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, this car has only 3.7 kilowatt or 16 amp onboard charger, which means that it would take forever to charge up that car. You need 8 hours just to fully charge it. Then you can drive 80 kilometers maybe, I'm not sure, 80 to 100 kilometers roughly. So it becomes a, okay, why do they have a DEFA? Oh, okay, there's an aftermarket DEFA. Okay, sorry for that. I'm just jumping a little back and forth. But this car might look nice, might look like a regular car, but that is the problem, because it was designed as a fossil car, and the biggest drawback with this car is the trunk. Like, you can't have anything in here. So I would say with this, the Ford Focus, stay away from the Focus. It's a bad choice. I haven't even tried banana box test. I'm not sure if a banana box will even fit in here or not. Right, next car is the Zoe. 22 kilowatt hour. Yeah, not 22 kilowatt. 22 kilowatt would be weak sauce. It would be diesel, yeah. Diesel power. No, but you see, these ones are actually kind of expensive. Look at this. So we're talking about 22 kilowatt hour battery. Not that great range, really. For 60-70K, you can see where this is going. Would I recommend these cars? No, because it's way more expensive than a Leaf. And the problem with these Zoes is that, well, first of all, I'm not too impressed of the interior. I think the interior looks a little bit too plastic, too sparse. Well, but it has infotainment. I give you that, yeah. At least it has a map and infotainment and some stuff there, touchscreen. But that's pretty much where it ends. Wow, the picture on this ad is kind of shitty. Let me try a better one. The problem is that the charge port is in the front. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but the charge port, Wait, where's the charge port? Is it in front or is it in the back? I don't remember. But the problem is that this car cannot DC fast charge. It uses the Renault Camelon charger, which is actually, it uses the part of the drivetrain, the inverter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it uses that part to convert AC to DC for the battery, and the efficiency is quite poor. We're talking about 80% only. And this one also comes in a Q version, which has this 43 kilowatt onboard charger. It uses the motor, which is great, right? Yeah, except for that in Norway, and I guess more and more countries, but especially in Norway, 43 kilowatt charging stations are getting very, very sparse, and there's almost no 43 kilowatt out there. So yes, the car could be able to take it, but you can't charge it anyway. So you'll be, most of the time, you'll be spending a lot of time charging that tiny battery on 22 kilowatt AC. But that is also the problem, because Fortum, well, what used to be Fortum, and going to talk about, you know, the charge point operators in Norway, they are removing more and more 22 kilowatt charging points, and when they install new charging sites, it will be mostly HPC, high power chargers. Ioniq, they don't have AC over there in Ioniq, so that is the problem with this car. Again, the Zoe, kind of expensive in this price range, and also tiny space. And what the heck did he put in the what did he put in the car? What the heck? Kind of expensive, poor range, no DC fast charging, very poor cargo space also. Interior is kind of sparse. What the heck did he do there? Yeah. And so, but I'm gonna get lots of hate comments because people will, oh, but I like my Zoe. Yeah, oh, okay, the chart is in front. Yeah, you see here is Type 2 only. I was never a fan of, so yeah, the trunk space is also not that great. But I know that these cars are quite popular in Germany, because I think in Germany it's a good deal, because there aren't that many other. Or back in the days, Zoe was kind of like the deal breaker, right? It kick ass for the Lord, price wise versus performance. Just like in Thailand, the ZS EV, the old one, kick ass because there were not many other options out there. So yeah, I mean, it's still an okay car, but if I wanted to get a second-hand car and I had 70k NOK to spend, I would buy a Leaf instead. Even my Leaf that cost a lot less than, not my Leaf, but I mean, you know, the Leaf I mentioned earlier, I would still recommend that one over a Zoe. Yeah, if we look at practical stuff, but you might be looking at aesthetics and stuff like that, and if you're brand loyal, okay, but if you ignore all that stuff, if you don't have any preferences on brand or anything like that, then the Leaf is still a winner in here. Next one up is Kia Soul. This is a 27 kilowatt hour version, which has that's supposed to be the net capacity. Well, actually, or roughly, but I think the actual battery is closer to 30 kilowatt hour. And this is actually a really good buy. If you have roughly 70-80k NOK, it's really good. Let me just try to look at one of these cars. So what is so good with the Soul? Well, it's actually fairly spacious. Okay, well, you might hate the looks. That's a different story. But we are not looking too much into you know, practical. I mean, shit. Why do they try to sell a car without showing the interior? The heck, man! Come on. Do we have any good pictures here? Of the inside. Okay, charge port is in the front. It uses CHAdeMO and Type 1, I think. I don't remember. I think it was Type 1, but it's in the front. And then let me see. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Huh? We actually have leather seats, and I think this is actually real holy cow leather before they started with all that vegan shit. Yeah, give me a real meat burger, man. So it's quite spacious in the front and the back. It's boxy, but look at it. We have, well, I'm not sure if I can, okay, let me see, do we have all the pictures? Yeah, but what I like is that it has a touchscreen, infotainment, navigation, some menus and stuff. This is a highly advanced car packed with features compared to all the other cars I mentioned earlier, like the e-up and everything, you know. Besides from the battery, you know, it almost feels like you are driving like a 5-year-old car, but it's almost 10 years old. But it feels way more modern than the other cars. That's what I'm saying. Let me see. Yeah, you also have some buttons on the steering wheel. So you see, compare this car to what was it we tried? Some of the other cars, like even the Zoe. Yeah, even the Zoe. That's like that's going to be a Teslabjorn meme. Like this car is way better than the Zoe, even the Zoe. And okay, but it has some problems. Okay, I'm going to see. Do I come back to? Okay, I'm going to show you. Okay, let's look at how it is. Like you see, you have radio, we have touchscreen, we have buttons on the side, and button overload, backup camera. You know, this is whoa. It has a steering wheel heater and everything. Wow. Oh, ventilated seats. Look at it. Look at this shit, man. You have all this shit like driver only. Yeah, you can go in eco mode with the driver only. Regular gear stock. Wait, did they not show the trunk? But the Kia Soul. Let me to look at something here. Yeah, look here. That's the e-Soul, but this is the classic Soul. Look at how many banana boxes you can take. 21 boxes. It puts EQE to shame. Okay, look, even compared to more expensive and more modern cars, then the Soul can take so much cargo. And also, if you only put in the trunk, well, 6 banana boxes in the trunk, that is just mind-blowingly good, even better than the classic Ioniq. You see, well, at least the seats folded, way better than i4. No, this is this is i4. What? Where's the i3? i3 is down here. You see? So the Soul just scores so well on many of these categories, but there's one thing I need to show you, which is the degradation test. The problem with the classic Soul is that it has slightly poor design on the battery. You see, it's supposed to be, yeah, supposedly according to, I'm not sure if this is EV database or something, 30 kilowatt hour gross capacity. Initially, according to what I measured now, best guess is 26 kilowatt hour. And the problem is that many poor Souls, they get quite hefty degradation. So you see, out of the 26 kilowatt hour, you have less than 20 kilowatt hour left. But many of these, the problem is that the Soul has some modules. They have the let me see, how was this again? It's the was it the pouch cell or prismatic cell? I don't remember, but you know the cells that is roughly as big as a palm, right? And they put those modules together, that creates a battery pack. But then some modules are stacked on top of each other, and then heat is generated on it. So even though the Soul is air cool, it actually charges really impressively fast also. That's also what I love with the Soul. It can take close to 50 kilowatt. I think it was 45, 40, 47, 48 kilowatt, quite flat until almost 80% or 70% something. Really, really impressive performance of the Soul. But the problem is that over time, some of the hot cells, they become hotter and they degrade faster, because the heat is usually what kills the battery over time. And then some cells are bad, and that kind of ruins for the rest of the battery pack. And so that's why you see in this table, or when I did the actual test of several different Souls, different cars, they show the same problem, that they degrade. But actually what you can do is that if you know someone, or if you have a good deal on like EV clinic in where is this again? Croatia, Zagreb. Yes, I got it right this time. Or other places in Oslo. You can. There are also some EV. You have EV hub in Oslo, or Elbilmek or something. Some of these workshops. Oh, and in Bergen you also have EV services. They might be able to repair that one. They will buy a new module. It's supposedly just some standard module. They will buy a new one and replace that one, and then you will get the original battery capacity, almost the original capacity restored, because it was just one cell that ruined for the whole pack, and that made it look really bad for some reason. Or if you're lucky and the battery capacity drops below a certain threshold, then you get this on warranty. But getting it on warranty is more like a gamble, because if you get it on warranty, you will actually get a new battery pack, because they stopped producing the 27, the old pack. So you will actually get a new generation 30 kilowatt hour net capacity battery. Wait, did I do the test here? I'm not sure. No, I think it's not a degradation test. It's a range test, I think. Then you're lucky. Then you won the lottery and you get the new battery pack, and then you're good. And then, yeah, I remember I did test it. My friend Paul Skoda, you get a new battery, and then suddenly you go from 80 kilometers range or I don't remember how much it was, but suddenly you get 50% more range. But if you also have roughly 70k, 80k, then you should also consider e-Golf. So the advantage with e-Golf is that this is the first car in the comparison that has adaptive cruise control. Yes, believe it or not, all the other cars I shown you earlier, they don't have adaptive cruise control, but Golf looks nice. It is also very efficient. And it's also very important that this is possibly, oh yeah, besides from e-Up, but this is also one of the few cars that has CCS port. And that is important because when you want to use Ionity or more charging stations, high power chargers, they have CCS and they don't have channel. So you can say that the e-Golf is also future proof. But wait, don't you have any interior view? Okay, there, okay. And the interior also looks nice, I have to say. I mean, it looks like a regular Golf. Maybe that's the point, that it looks like a regular car. It has nice interior. I would dare to say that the interior in the classic Golf looks and feels better than the ID.3 even. But let me see, and this is 24 kilowatt hour battery. You see decent power also. It feels quick. It feels like when you drive it, it rides like a go-kart really. And well, okay, VLTP, you don't get that range, but you also get pretty decent range. Okay, it's right here. You have the same space as a Taycan. No, but it's actually quite decent. You see, even versus Kona, a more expensive, more modern car, then it can even match Kona. And then when it comes to versus I-Miev, you see that it matches I-Miev in this one, but then the trunk in the e-Golf is better than I-Miev. So I'd say this is a really, really good car. But I will show you something else which is also important when it comes to degradation, because that's also important when you consider these second-hand cars. And believe it or not, the e-Golf has no thermal management. It has no active cooling. It will replicate like a mofo if you push it too hard. But it can still go on decent trips, like you can still go, let's say 300 400 kilometers in a day before it becomes too painful. But because of lack of thermal management, then it might degrade a little bit faster, right? Well, except for that, the degradation is not that bad. It could be because of the design of the battery pack. It could be because of top buffer, because when you charge it to 100%, it's not true 100%. It could be something like 80 and 95%, which also affects degradation. And it could be the battery chemistry, because if you look at e-Golf, okay, initially I believe it's a 24 kilowatt hour, and then I believe it's 20 kilowatt hour when it's new, and then you still have decent capacity. You see, okay, you might not be lucky and get one with low mileage, but you can still get roughly 17 kilowatt hour from these. And remember that the e-Golf is very efficient. And then I have a weird, I have this other degradation per cycle, which is like what I found out when I did the degradation test is that what matters is actually number of cycles, or directly transferred to the distance that the odometer. How far did you drive the car? That in general affects the degradation. The age of the battery doesn't affect it that much, very, very little. And that's why when I test these cars, and then some cars they will turn out to have low degradation, but they're also kind of low on mileage, right? So then I take actually cycle divided by, or degradation divided by cycle, and then, okay, whatever, you don't have to understand everything, but in general, the higher this number is, the better it is. Wait, why is it? Oh, okay, I stripped out the formula here. Maybe I should put it back. Okay. Yeah, so, but they're just comparison here. You look at the e-Golf. They're up here, right? Relatively low degradation compared to Soul that is down here, but it has like a design flaw. If you actually go for the 30 kilowatt hour Soul that I haven't covered, well, the 30 is the 30 net capacity, and then the gross capacity should be roughly 3 kilowatt hour higher. But I'm talking about the generation after this one, the Kia Soul. That one does not have that problem with degradation. So at least if you go for that one in the Soul, you are kind of safe. But yeah, so Golf, really, really good. Okay, next one is the BMW i3, and you see now we are talking about almost 100k for a second-hand car. And these cars, they, okay, 125 kilowatt, that's actually the power on there. So what I like about the i3 is that it's quick. We're talking about 170 horsepower in a relatively light car. It has this modern design. Even today, the car looks ugly. or modern, depending on how you see it. But the interior, I like it. It's quite open. Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too open. But the infotainment, everything here is actually very, very modern compared to other cars in the same age. And then you see here, let me look at the spec here. So we are talking about 170 horsepower. And okay, this one, you don't trust it, by the way. The spec here does not reflect the real world. The actual weight is closer to, yeah, it's around like 100 kilograms more. We're talking about 1,300, 1,400 kilograms, but still very decent. But remember, this is only 4-seater. And the problem with the i3, let me see if I can get a good picture here. Yeah, here, kind of. You see here, the trunk, you can, yeah, you cannot open. I mean, you can try to open this lid. I'm not sure if you can open. I don't remember. But there is no space under the trunk. In many cars, like the Leaf, like the Zoe, everything, you open the trunk lid, and then you have more cargo space under here. But the problem is that the BMW, they claim it to be born electric. It's not true. My claim is they are not born electric, because it's born Rex. It's born to be to have the range extend. So under here you have the motor. The cool thing is that it's a rear-wheel drive, so it's quite fun to drive. But there's also a placeholder for the fossil engine under here. I don't remember if it's this side or this side. And then it eats up the space, and then you have limited trunk space. And I shown you earlier that the i3 has kind of poor space, unfortunately. But also another problem, by the way, is that for the BEV, which is most common in Norway, I don't remember. So let's say if the motor is on this side, right? Wait, I think it was on this side. Then there's supposed to be a Rex on the other side, and then for the BEV, they just have a shaft running there with the motor over to the other side. And then the problem is that that shaft tends to fail, and then you are stranded. So very, very common, that problem. So this is the problem with i3, I think, is that it was designed to be a fossil platform also, not a pure EV platform. But it's a nice car. It rides nicely. It's, you know, it's a BMW, and you still, when you close the door, everything, you get the BMW feel. It uses CCS also in Type 2, so this car is also future-proof. And what I love about the BMW is that it has a nice and flat charging curve all the way to 80-85%. We're talking about almost 50 kilowatt until I think it was 80%. Nice and flat charging curve, but it can only take maximum 50 kilowatts, so that's a small bummer. And also it's a 22 kilowatt hour battery. I don't think it says here, but it's 22 kilowatt hour battery. So initially it has 18.8 kilowatt hour, and then there is a little bit of degradation, but this is actually very good, that after 100k it actually has lower degradation than an e-Golf. Why? Because the thermal management is better, probably the thermal design, everything, maybe the battery chemistry, everything is better. So actually you can see there, this is also interesting, that an i3 that has initially a lower capacity than the e-Golf, but after some years and some degradation, then the i3 is right on par with the e-Golf in battery capacity, and the i3 is also very efficient. But I should also point out that okay, the i3 has it has adaptive cruise control and some kind of auto steer-ish, but it doesn't have a radar, unlike the e-Golf. The e-Golf, actually, I forgot to mention, is quite awesome. It has heated radar, so even when it snows outside, it will just melt the snow. So the e-Golf is quite awesome. The i3 doesn't have it, radar, so it actually uses vision only to determine the distance to the car in front. And that becomes a problem when you have low sun, and when you enter exit tunnels, it will kind of bug out, and sometimes you can't activate the adaptive cruise control. So that's a bummer. But overall though, I mean, what is my feel about the i3? I mean, it's a nice car. You have to pay the German price for it. It's quick, it rides quite well, but because it's so short, the wheelbase and everything, and kind of boxy, then when you drive fast, we're talking about only 120 kilometers per hour, it feels a little bit unstable on the motorway. Yeah, and also I guess when you go fast, then it does, because of the boxy shape, then it's not that efficient. Well, there was one more problem with it. Yeah, it was freaking the suicide doors. Okay, also they are kind of not practical. The suicide door. I'm actually surprised that they don't show off the suicide doors. But yeah, so but it has an app and everything, so that's pretty cool. You can preheat the car. So you know, overall, it's a very decent car, but it might have some problem. Okay, I should mention it, by the way. It might not be a big problem, but when you are fast charging the car, and it will then use the cooling. The AC unit will cool the battery so it doesn't overheat. But if you run the heater, which uses heat pump in Norway, you will then the cabin will steal some of the AC power that goes to cooling the battery. So then actually the battery overheats and you charge fast. You charge slower. So the i3 actually rapid gates. I'm not sure how it is in summer, but at least I tested it when it was winter-ish. So that's a slight disadvantage with the i3. But I think most people, they will not encounter this, because I haven't heard people complain about this too much. Okay, now we are in the really high price range, and we are talking about 100K for a freaking Mercedes B-Class. And there are not many cars I say don't buy, but when it comes to the Mercedes-Benz B-Class, I say don't buy this shit. So, and this is coming from Mercedes Bjørn, who loves the EQS. You see that I'm not trying to just stick to a brand. I'm not a brand fanboy, you know, but the B-Class is a poor excuse for an EV. It's a fossil car that has been forcefully mutated into an EV. So they just took a regular B-Class and they put a Tesla 30 or 36 kilowatt hour battery and a Tesla drivetrain, Tesla induction motor, which tends to be a little bit inefficient. But then, since this car has probably poor aerodynamics and maybe it's poorly implemented, then this car is really thirsty. They don't dare to show any consumption numbers here, because it is, and also the gauges here doesn't make any sense. They're just like, Scheisse, what do we put here? This is supposed to be maybe oil temperature, or I don't know. It's just poorly implemented. Let me see here. Can I spot something weird here? No. Okay. But I was going to show you in the trunk. We have to find a trunk picture. But let me just show you the side. Okay, it's fairly quick. Fairly quick. Well, 180 horsepower. That's the most powerful car we have seen so far. But also heavy. Okay, this one claims 28 kilowatt hour. You could actually upgrade the battery via software and unlock more capacity. Yeah, I don't remember how the deal was, but it's a 36 kilowatt hour battery in it. But I need to find a trunk picture. But I have to say, when it comes to interior though, the Mercedes wins here, hands down. Just look at this, huh? Leather and soft materials all over the place, leather seats, and also we have the adjustment here. Yeah, the e-Golf also has it. Many cars, they don't have this adjustment, but and the interior looks and feels nice. I mean, it's still a Mercedes, so that, yeah, I give you that. It's nice, that one. But let me see, trunk picture, trunk. Ooh, it even has white interior. Wow, I like this. I'm a sucker for white interior. Look at this shit, man. I have to say, it looks nice. It looks nice, but look at here, huh? Think about this. It's early generation electric Mercedes based on Tesla tech. But wow, look at this. But where's the trunk picture? It seems like nobody wants to show the trunk. Where is it? Here. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. There's like a little bar over there where the battery is. But other than that, it's actually not that bad. Too bad I had never tested the trunk space in the B-Class, but I think actually it should score quite well because it's kind of big and boxy. So trunk space and cargo, yeah, okay, we have a little bit of space under here. So cargo space should be good, just that I haven't tested it yet. But you know, the reason why I don't bother wasting time with this fossil design electric car is that I think they don't talk about it, by the way, is that it doesn't have fast charging. So it cannot DC fast charge. It has 11 kilowatt onboard charger, which is great. But because the car is so thirsty, we are talking about roughly 200 to 250 watt-hour per kilometer. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the fat e-tron's ancestor, right? It's really thirsty. It becomes, okay, you have a big battery, yeah, you have a big battery, but it becomes a little bit useless. You have a big battery, but the range is poor. And then once you need to recharge it, you can only charge it on 11 kilowatt AC, which is roughly 10 kilowatt into the battery. So you will still spend 2 hours maybe or more charging this car. Like even a Zoe, even a Zoe will be charging faster. You can take 22 kilowatt, right? So that's why I say Mercedes Benz B-Class, don't buy it. With this price, there should be plenty of other better cars you want to buy, right? Or yeah, now people can disagree with me. Like you still think that the B-Class is good? I think it's shitty car. Sorry, I take an EQS any day. Okay, maybe not. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. If you up the price a little bit and if you pump out around 140k, you can get a classic Ioniq. Man, how long is this video gonna be? The classic Ioniq is so awesome, man, because suddenly you get nice looking car, you get super efficient car. This car just kicks ass for the Lord. It's super efficient. You can drive it as low as 100 watt-hour per kilometer. It's a 28 kilowatt-hour battery. Yes, that's according to spec, and the gross capacity is supposed to be over 30.5 kilowatt-hour. But at least when I tested it with brand spanking new cars, you get roughly 26 kilowatt-hour from it. But it practically means that you have at least 150 to 250 kilometers of range, and it charges like a boss until it overheats. Yeah, that's a different story. But it has CCS. It can take almost 70 kilowatt, 65 kilowatt roughly. It has air-cooled battery. It has fairly good space. Look at this. It has good aerodynamics also. Fairly quick also. Let me see. I'll just show you guys all this. This is my all-time favorite, really. The classic Ioniq. Look at the very nice space here. Look at this, huh? Look at this shit. Interior. Okay, this one. Wait, no, shit. I picked the wrong. Yeah, but whatever. It comes also in the higher trim with better equipment, with ventilated seat. Think about this, huh? Awesome, man. And auto steer-ish. And adaptive cruise control, of course. Yeah, good infotainment. This one just happened to be the one with the lower. If you pay the lower price, you get the slightly worse interior, unless you are lucky and you get the good one. But man, I mean, just look at this. Think about this. It's a Korean car, you know. And it has, oh, what the heck? Oh no, they use the disinfection. Oh shit, you get all the spots there. That's not, it's kind of nasty looking. But overall, the infotainment here feels way more modern. But we're talking about, this car is not that old. It's from 2016, so it's relatively modern in that aspect. Okay, the resolution on the backup camera is shitty. It's like VGA graphics. But other than that though, the car is awesome. Wait, what the heck is this? Okay, but the car overall is very nice. How much? 120 horsepower. I think it was roughly 250 Newton meter torque, wasn't it? 5-seater, you know, plenty space. You see here, classic Ioniq can take 18 banana boxes, which is more than some of the other ones, like Zoe and Ampera-e even, and e-Golf is 16 bananas. So actually the Ioniq has pretty decent trunk here, 6 banana boxes in the trunk and everything. But also what is important when it comes to degradation, you can see here that I tested Ioniq and it's just amazingly good. You see, 2.5-year-old Ioniq, 92,000 kilometers, and it has almost no degradation, insanely good. So it could be that the car might be hiding a little bit of degradation, because this one here, the ZSEV, seems to have no degradation, but there must be something that is hidden. Yeah. So, but still, okay, it's still really good that you get here. You see, you get 25 kilowatt-hour. If you look at some other cars, even the i3, you know, or some of the other cars, they only have less than 20 kilowatt-hours. So the Ioniq 5, sorry, the Ioniq is really hands down the best car in this price range so far. But there's a slight problem with it, not a big problem, which is that the battery here is air-cooled, and then it sucks in air from the cabin, actually. Yeah, it sucks in air from, let me see if I can show you here. Here. There are some air vents, like behind here, roughly, I'm pointing, yeah, like in the back seat. It sucks in air there, cold air, hopefully, if you're running the HVAC. And then circles through the battery, and then it's being dumped. I'm not sure where. It could be the trunk area on the back or outside the car, something like that. I'm not sure really. It seems like it might dump some of the heat into the trunk or some weird shit. But if it's really hot outside and the cabin is hot, then it's sucking in hot air through the battery, and then the battery overheats and it charges slightly slower. It's not massive slowdown like a Leaf, but still you can feel a slight slight rapid gate, but it at least doesn't seem to affect the degradation too much. Well, actually, I haven't tried. Yeah, but it's still, you know, overall the Ioniq here is hands down the best car ever. I said it again, I need to say it again, that if you have 140k, yeah, 140 to 150, 60k, you might want to go for the one with a higher trim level, by the way. Then that's a really good buy. Okay, then the next group here, we actually have another triplet, which is we have the Volkswagen e-Up, but it's the next generation. See, this 2020. And this time I sort by highest price to the lowest price. Okay, but if I remove e-Up, I'll show you that we also have the Citigo and the Fiat Me. They are basically the same car. It's based on like the e-Up platform. And these cars, they are in my list even, yeah, because it's fairly affordable. It's less than 200k. And you see, it has a bigger battery, also a decent power, but actually, or not really that big, decent. But when I tested charging, okay, it can charge on CCS DC, but it's not that fast. We're talking about roughly 37 kilowatt, and then it goes a little bit slower. So charging to 90% on these cars are kind of slow. But okay, for a city car, a modern city car with warranty and everything, then it's still decent. Range is also, of course, because the battery is relatively large, then it's also good. Yeah, it claims 259 kilometers of VLTP. So these cars are very good. You can use it for local runs, but you can, wow, it even has the handbrake here. You can use it for local runs, but you can also use it for long trips. So it's yeah, but they didn't really do that much improvement. You still have this one. You have to connect, you know. You connect this one to the car and to see the battery status. That's funny because that's where it came from. When I went to Frankfurt, the motor show, they showed me the new the new e-Up, and the German woman, she showed me this holder. Wait, this holder that had a phone on it, and then she said that you can look at the battery status, and I was like, ah, the battery status, yeah. And believe it or not, you can buy a Tesla Model S for less than 200k. Wow, look at this. Even a Model S 85, we have to look at this one, 189k, what the heck. So what you get when you buy a Tesla is that you get insanely good space. And these classic cars, they have a big frunk, because it's a rear-wheel drive only. So let me see if I can, I'm going to show you guys some of that. I know the Tesla a lot. I've been spending so much time with it. Yeah, you have plenty of space here. A large car with good comfort. Oh, this is also true. This is also real holy cow leather. And just the infotainment, everything. So even though this is a very old car, the infotainment has been upgraded. But oh, I need to limit myself for how much I can talk about this car. But if you have the upgraded infotainment, then you get 4G connectivity. If not, then you get 3G. And then in Norway, they shut down the 3G network, so you're then stuck with only 2G. So the infotainment here becomes super sluggish. But let me see if they mentioned this one. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just the videos. Oh, this one has the dual charger. It actually has 22 kilowatt onboard charger. Yeah. So, and the range, by the way. Okay, so when it comes to degradation, everything, it's 2014 model, but 170,000. It's an 85 kilowatt hour battery. And okay, let me see. I think I have something similar to this one. Yeah, here we have something that kind of resembles it. Remember I said that age doesn't matter too much. Yeah, that's what she said. But roughly at 150k, you have only 4% degradation. Or let me see, I even have, yeah, this one is maybe even more realistic maybe. See, even after 260k, you only have 12% degradation. So you can expect that the Teslas, they will have really awesome range. Even after many years and over 200k driving, you still have maybe over 65 kilowatt hour left, which means that practically you have over 300 kilometers of real world range. And let me see what else. So you get practical lots of space. Okay, I mean, these cars compared to modern Teslas or whatever other modern premium cars out there, okay, they kind of feel not so nice, but compared to other cars in the same price range, then this is really a winner. Okay, this looks a bit nasty, but also plenty of space here. So yeah, you see, very nice picture, by the way. You can put so much stuff here. Did they show the front? Oh yeah, backup camera is also nice. Big screen here. You see. Oh, this one, it has the air suspension, but the air suspension on all Teslas tends to break, and then it would be really expensive to repair it. But don't repair it at Tesla. Go to Nasir, Bilexperten, Bosch, or other workshops. They can do it for a lower price. So, but it's still going to be kind of expensive to repair these cars. Just bear that in mind. That okay, I mean, you're not going to get, or you might not get a Tesla for this price. You might have to add, let's say, 20-30k NOK for some repairs when you buy them, but it's still a really awesome car. If you have that much money and you want a family car, then this is okay. They didn't show the front, unfortunately, in this picture, but yeah. So I think my time is up with the Tesla. Otherwise, the video will be too long. But yeah, also lots of power and all that, and also highly recommended for a car less than 200k. All right, and then we have Opel Ampera-e. Okay, similar price as a Tesla. Similar battery. Well, actually no, these ones are 60 kilowatt-hour battery, so we have smaller battery. But yeah, I mean, what do we get here then? Well, you get a more compact city car. It's quick also, 204 horsepower and roughly 1,700 kilograms. This one is not correct. And okay, let me show you. Do we have any pictures here? It's kind of compact, so you have to bear in mind that the space is not the best. We're talking about it was 16 or 17 banana boxes. But it's chargers on, okay, it's chargers on CCS. Okay, that's the problem, by the way. It's kind of slow. We're talking about 55 kilowatt peak power, and then it goes kind of slow. Yeah, I forgot to mention Tesla also charges kind of slow, but it still charges way faster than the Ampera-e. The Tesla will peak at 118 kilowatt, and then most of the time it hovers at around 70 kilowatt, which is still decent for its age and everything. But okay, back to the Ampera-e. Okay, it's a nice car. It has a nice interior, everything. Kind of, yeah, a little bit different maybe than some of the other cars because it doesn't have navigation. So you have to use Apple, you have to use CarPlay or something. You have to, yeah, mirror the phone in here, and then you can use navigation. But other than that, it's a decent car, I'd say. But to be honest, if I would choose between an Ampera, if I had 180k, I think I would go for a Tesla, because Tesla, in comparison, is just loaded with tech. Tesla, even though it's an old car, it has the newest stuff like dog mode and camp mode even. But this one, kind of the way it was five years ago when it was sold, yeah, 6 years ago when it was sold, it is still the same. It has not improved with software and anything like that. And yeah, I should also mention Tesla also preheats the battery before fast charging. Now this one doesn't do it. So yeah, I mean, it's still a nice car and all that, but in my opinion, there are other better cars in this price range. And then you can actually get also a relatively new ZS EV, because these are also lower priced. So yeah, these cars, okay, this is Chinese car, so just remember that the software is Chinese and everything, but it's also relatively spacious and also sound. Okay, there's some dents there. Okay, maybe not the best ad to show you guys. Let me try this one maybe. So what is the advantage with these cars? They were already originally kind of cheap, and then you still have warranty if you buy this car. You see, 2020 at 65k, and also I also did the degradation test. You don't have too much degradation here. A fairly spacious trunk and everything. Oh, okay, maybe I should not open it like that. I think the network here is not the best when I'm sitting in the car, but I mean, it's overall a nice car, and it's well, I mean, it's cheap. I'm not sure what I should say about it, and it's kind of fossil design because it's also a fossil variant of this. So that it means that it's not the most efficient car, and also it charges kind of slow in winter. It cold gets a little bit, but they have added some preheating feature. You can, well, actually, I'm not sure if they added it on this car, or maybe if I had to go for the new car. But supposedly, yeah, no, I think this one also has it. You can manually preheat the battery, so it will kind of overcome some of the problems with it. But I mean, the interior is nice, the space is nice, and everything. And I think also this is a good choice. But you have to bear in mind that it uses Chinese software. So in my opinion, the Chinese software kind of is not as smooth as some of the American cars like Tesla or some of the German cars. So, but overall, it's also a very good car for the money. Yeah, I should also mention Mazda MX-30. The reason why it's also here is because it's also relatively cheap. So you see, a new car, so it means that you get warranty still. And okay, so the Mazda is kind of, if you buy it brand new, then I wouldn't recommend it because, or I mean, it depends, because it doesn't charge that fast and it has kind of poor range and also not that great efficiency. So, but it's quick, 143 horsepower, it's fun to drive, and the interior looks nice, but it's also, yeah, it has these doors there, yeah. Compared to some of the other cars, this car kind of feels not that great compared to similar cars in that age. But bear in mind that the Mazda is also relatively cheap, and that's why it also ends up here in the second-hand market to be fairly affordable. So wait, why does it look like this car has gone through hell and back again? Yeah, but so yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about this. The Mazda. Like I said, it's not the best car, it's not the fastest charging car. If you want something like, you know, if you want to travel a lot, then other cars might be better. But I guess for a city car and just for medium trips, then it's okay. But also, yeah, the trunk space, from what I remember, was also not the best. So yeah, you just have to bear that in mind. But depending on what you do it for like a commuter car, it's perfect, really, for its price. But yeah, so I think that's it. It was a freaking long video, but if I have a few highlights, the cars that actually stands out is that in the lower price range, then I'd say the Leaf is the best overall, around 30–40k NOK. Then the Leaf really has the best features, the best space, the best comfort versus some of the other competitors in that same price range. And then if you move further up the price and almost double the price, around 70k, then Soul is really outstanding. You get so much car, so much space, so much tech for the money. Yeah, it's kind of funny when I say that, but yeah, in that price range, in that age, then Soul is also really outstanding. And then when you move further up the price range, almost double that one again to 140k-ish, then Ioniq is by far the best car in that price. It's just, I don't need to say more, man. If you guys know my channel, you know how much I love the classic Ioniq. Yeah. And then I guess the last one I should mention, if you go a little bit further up, then the Tesla Model S is hands down also just outstanding versus some of the other cars in the comparison here. Then the Model S has twice the range, twice the power, twice the cargo, twice the tech. You know, everything just kicks ass with the Tesla. And also you have app support in the Teslas. It's just superb app, and everything there with Tesla is just kept updating. But you kind of need to find the right car also in Tesla, because you might find the one with the old software, or there's some critical updates or hardware changes that came, or chargers, like hardware that has been changed rather. Yeah. So you kind of need to be a little bit lucky with the Tesla if you want to find a good one that doesn't have too many problems. So yes, overall that's it. And then I want to ask you guys, which car is your favorite in this price range? And do you agree with me when I actually highly recommend Tesla, or do you say no, it's dangerous, don't buy these Teslas because they are going to, right? I think wifey wants me to leave now. But anyway, I think that's gonna be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.